What's up, Cardfight? This is Naru-san right here, coming in with start deck breakdowns, what made the cut, what's staying, what's going, and today we got the one and only Danji Momoyama deck. Alright, this is actually one that I really wanted to talk about because I really do love the aesthetic of Bruce. I'm not really a big Spikes Brothers player back in the day, but actually looking at it, I really want to start being one. But I don't want to hold you up any further, so let's begin. Alright, welcome back, Card Fighters. Today I am bringing you Danji Momoyama. I actually am kind of excited to do this one because a lot of cards in here do end up staying more than there was in the last one and in the Dragonic Empire set. So we are going to see a little bit of like a difference here, but a good chunk is going to be taken out for other stuff as well. But don't want to hold you up any further, so let's get it opening. Alright, so today we got the one and only Diablo's Violence Bruce. Oh my god, that art looks beautiful. Well, I can't wait for the DSL arc to come out, but for the time being, this looks amazing. It is going to be one of the few decks that I'm going to play right next to Dragon Empire, so I actually want to take the time and maybe be a little bit more thorough about this deck as much as I can. Alright, so starting off, we got our boy, the one and only Bruce, coming in. He's actually going to be your main ace in the deck, so all 4 copies will be sticking around, similar to all the other start decks. The first 4 would never change out, unless you're playing the other sub-archetype, but that's all dependent on you. Next, we got our one and only Diablo's Anger Richard. Yes, Richard from Golden Phoenix Games. Not same relation, I promise you. But speaking about Golden Phoenix Games, if you haven't ordered anything for Overdress, I don't know what you're doing. So get your butt over to Golden Phoenix Games and use code NARU and you'll get $5 off on checkout for any boxes, cases, or play sets from Golden Phoenix Games. Other than that, let's get back right into here. So we got Diablo's Anger Richard. He's an interesting tech. A good thing I do want to point out in this deck is that everything in the beginning is of course going to be the ride line, so you're always going to want a 1 Richard, but the other 3 is actually subject to your you on it. It is a 5k plus, so it's going to be a 15k attacker. If you persona ride, that is a 25k attack, and if you gave it an 8k boost, it'll be 33. Overall great numbers, but there's some other cards in the lineup that I'm going to be mentioning, not usually grade 2s. We will be getting more of those in the festival collection, but in DBT01 we have other grade 3s that could be taking the spot of our grade 2 over here. A good example is Upwards Acrobat, and even in the deck we have the Gear Colossus that could want to show a little bit more support than this card. So running 3 of it could be okay, but it's all dependent on your playstyle, what you think makes a little bit more sense for you. But at the current moment, I may only be having the 1 for the ride line in the deck. Next, we got our one and only Diablo's Bad Steve. Alright, another situational card. It has its own ride skill, making it part of the ride line, but its other skill is very similar to Richard, and very up to you if you think a 13k plus or 13k boost is going to be worth it for you. Now, in my opinion, I'm probably going to be running the one and only Steam Battler on Gunrun. He is a Soul Charge 1 when placed on rearguard circle, and then you could Soul Blast 3 to draw a card. The draw card could be used. I don't see it being used a lot unless you're soul charging a lot that turn and want to be able to recurse a card back into your hand from the top of your deck. But his overall view is to be able to soul charge, and this card is not going to be able to do that for us and just be another 5k plus beater. So in my opinion, I may be taking out Steve for this in return of running the Steam Battler. Now, another card that can also be run for grade 1s is Proto Dragon. Proto Dragon is actually an excellent card because it says when it boosts an attack, you're allowed to put a rearguard into your soul and add a card from your soul to your hand. So being able to use that skill is going to be very substantial because no matter what, you can get anything that you soul charge like a P guard and then pop it right into your hand. Lastly, we got our starter right here, the beginning of the right line. Pretty much basic starter. You're going to be drawing one of you 1 second. If not, you're just riding over him and going on with your own very own day. Next, we got 4 of our Gear Colossus. Well, actually, Time Dreaming Fist Colossus. The Gear Colossus, guys, let's be honest here. I mean, it says Gear Colossus right there in that little small area. But yeah, we're going to be running 4 of the Gear Colossus right here. Definitely do recommend running the Gear Colossus. He's an excellent card in my opinion, because being able to gain that 15k power, remember, magic numbers are 18, 28, and 38, and him getting plus 15, making him a 28k beater, with the front row plus 10, making him a 38 from the Persona ride. You have a lot of advantage coming in. And also he soul charges. I mean, what else can you ask for, right? But if you're looking at other grade 3s that's going to be run in the deck, like I said again, Upward Acrobat is going to be incorporated as well with him. So you're always going to have those big numbers on rearguard circle. Next, we got our vanilla grade 2. Let's be honest, guys, it's not going to stay in the deck. Let's get this out of here. Always going to have replacements, like I said. So either Upwards Acrobat takes its spot, or we include something like Eden. I didn't talk much about Eden, but Diablo's Boys Eden is similar to the other 2 Diablo's Boys, Richard and Steve. But the difference is that not only does it gain 5k, but when it stands, it gains an additional critical on Final Rush. So this is actually going to be a very substantial card, because it's already going to gain a crit. So any criticals that you get from your dry check for Bruce can go to the other rear guard. So I am going to take full advantage of that when it comes in, and hopefully we take some games with it. Now next we got our other grade 2, that is a counterblast 1 when intercepting or when placed on Guardian Circle, gains an additional 5k. I don't think it's going to make the cut. You have Eden coming in, you got more grade 3s coming into the deck, so I kind of don't see it being used as often. But like I said, wouldn't be surprised if some people feel like that extra counterblast that you're not using, because Bruce doesn't use counterblast, and the only counterblast that you really use would be either from Protobulb Dragon or any of the other grade 3s that are available. But him counterblasting 4 or 5k may not be something that you really want to incorporate within the deck. Last, we got Acrobat Presenter. Acrobat Presenter is not a bad card, to say the least. When you boost, you're able to soul charge 1, and then if you're on Final Rush or your Vanguard is Bruce, you're allowed to soul charge an additional time. Now this is a good soul charge too if you haven't gone to Final Rush yet, and I can see it having a good amount of play within the deck. I may be running it at 3, but I do think this is a card that's going to be sticking around for a good portion of time. Next, we got our P guards. In my opinion, guys, the P guards, you're not going to want these. You're going to want the one and only Rescue Hate Dragon P guard. Best P guard in the game. Similar to all the other P guards, when it's placed and it's like your last 2 cards, the attack is nullified without having to discard. But if you have 2 or more cards in your hand, you're going to have to discard a card. Overall, substantial card. Truly recommend. And as I'm looking currently on TCG Player, not that expensive. I mean, $5. It's not bad. Most P guards, when they are first released, were always that price. So being able to see it again makes me hope that the secondary market is going to be a tiny bit more fair. But you know, like I said, the secondary market, who knows. Next, we got our Overtrigger, and you could run this Overtrigger, but I kind of really strongly recommend running the Dark States Overtrigger. The Dark States Overtrigger is substantially better because it works until the end of the game, which is, yeah, crazy, right? The end of the game. So the Dark States Overtrigger skill is when drive checked, banish it, draw 1, and your Vanguard gains plus 10k plus 1 critical until the end of the game. Yeah, guys, until the end of the game. So during your next turn right after, still has plus 1 critical. And I know we're talking about Bruce right now, but if we're talking about Barrel Magnus in this scenario, you would totally see that Barrel Magnus will be attacking for 3 damage for each time, as long as you had 10 plus cards in soul, which is a lot easier in Bruce's case, while you have Bruce attacking with a critical, and then you would have Eden attacking with a critical, and then that rear guard, if you draw check another crit, would also gain a critical. So both decks very strong with that extra crit. If you dry check the Overtrigger, it can be very crazy, and I strongly, like I said, recommend the Dark States Overtrigger. Next, like I always do, guys, I'm going to show you guys the trigger lineup. Currently, we have vanilla set of triggers, 4 of each, except for the front where we only have 3, and our heels. Now, what I do recommend is this is all your canvas, whatever you think works best. When we get DBT01, you'll get your second set of triggers, and then from there you can design how you want your trigger lineup to be. Now, what's actually kind of interesting with the Overdress format is that you can go fronts or crits for most decks. Like, no deck requires one or the other. Like back in the day when you played Excel, it was like, all right, run fronts. If you played force, you're like, we only have crits, so run the 8 crit. But now you have your canvas of what you want to do going forward. Now, what I do want to mention though is that for this deck in particular, I think I am going to go with the crit setup because I do want to get criticals to my Vanguard or Rearguard that is not Eden, and being able to access that would be a lot more beneficial for me. But I do understand if some people are going to go with the front lineup because they know their Rearguards are going to stand, and being able to make them an extra 10k stronger would not hurt them for the least. But yeah, that's currently the canvas, and then we're going to finish it off with the one and only Brother Soul. Now, what's kind of disappointing here, guys, is that you only get 3 Brother Soul. I am getting another trial deck in the mail, so I can get the last and 4th Brother Soul. I do recommend running Brother Soul. It is the best card that you can have. It will save you out of a lot of jams. In this situation, you only need 5 cards in Soul. So one Brother Soul is already half the Soul that you need, and you just have to generate the last 3. And other cases like Barrel Magnus, this is an easy +2 for the turn, and trying to get to that 10 or 15 will be substantially perfect. Now, that's pretty much my deck breakdown for what you're going to need, what's getting out, for Danji's set of Violence Bruce. Now, guys, I will be having another video coming up with the one and only Megami coming in. We're going straight for the sister. This one's actually gonna be kind of difficult for me. I'm gonna try giving you guys my best point of view when this video comes out, because in my opinion, I am not a Aqua Force, Grand Blue, Great Nature, Mega Colony. I'm none of those types of players. So being able to give you my full dot on this deck is going to be very difficult, but I'll try my best, and hopefully it comes across well. Well, that's pretty much it for me right now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and if you like this video or like my content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Our Samurai signing off.